The alarm shrieked through the research station's corridors at exactly 0201 ship time. Dr. Veltar's 4 eyes snapped open in his quarters, his chitinous form already trembling at the sound he'd hoped never to hear during his assignment on Station Kepler 442 Containment Breach. Level 7. Apex Predator loose. Through the reinforced observation deck, the Zephyrian scientist watched in horror as the massive Vorthak prowled the main laboratory. 8 meters of pure killing machine, its obsidian carapace gleaming under the emergency lighting. Acid dripped from its mandibles, eating through the deck plating with each drop. The creature had already torn through 3 security barriers like tissue paper. "How did it escape?" whispered Ensign Clix, the young Altarian's purple skin pale with fear. Veltar's primary hands worked frantically at his console while his secondary pair sealed his environmental suit. The sedation field failed. Somehow the neural dampeners went offline for 47 seconds. That was all it needed. The Vorthak had been discovered on a dead world in the Outer Rim, the only surviving specimen of a species that had consumed every other life form on its planet before finally turning on itself. The Galactic Council had deemed it too dangerous to destroy. Its biology held secrets that could revolutionize both medicine and warfare. So they'd brought it here, to the most secure research facility in known space. At 0201, as the alarms wailed, there was one being aboard the station who wasn't running for the escape pods. Sarah Chen, the human xenobiologist, stood in corridor C7, directly in the creature's path. Her small form, barely 1.7 meters tall, looked absurdly fragile compared to the approaching nightmare. While every other sentient being on the station activated emergency protocols, the human was grinning. "Dr. Chen!" Veltar's voice crackled through the comm. "What are you doing? Fall back immediately!" Sarah tilted her head, studying the Vorthak as it rounded the corner. Its 6 legs moved with predatory grace, each step calculated and deadly. Its sensor organs locked onto her, and she could see its killing instincts engage. This was a creature that had evolved to be the perfect destroyer of life. "Vel, have you ever wondered why humans call their homeworld Earth instead of something more descriptive?" Sarah's voice was conversational, almost casual. The Vorthak charged. 3 tons of alien death machine accelerated down the corridor. With impossible speed, its shriek echoing off the walls. Any rational being would have been frozen in terror or already dead. Sarah stepped to the side. Not a dive, not a desperate leap, just a simple economical step. The Vorthak's claws, evolved to compensate for every possible evasive maneuver its prey might attempt, found only empty air. It crashed into the wall behind where she'd been standing, its momentum carrying it through reinforced alloy plating. "The thing about death worlds," Sarah continued, walking calmly as the Vorthak extracted itself from the wall, "is that they don't just make you tough. They make you smart. Adaptive. Every predator teaches you something new." The creature spun, its rage building. It had never missed. Its kind had hunted successfully for millions of years before consuming everything in reach. It attacked again, claws and teeth seeking the small human with mechanical precision. Sarah wasn't there. She'd moved again, not with superhuman speed, but with something far more dangerous, perfect timing. The Vorthak's own momentum carried it past her, and for just a moment, its ventral side was exposed. The human's hand touched a specific spot on the creature's underbelly. Nothing more than a gentle press, but the Vorthak's entire body convulsed. It stumbled, its coordination suddenly uncertain. Nerve cluster analysis from the first day of study, Sarah explained to the watching scientists. Right where the auxiliary neural networks converge. In humans, we'd call it a solar plexus strike. At 0204, the Vorthak stopped moving. Not dead. Its breathing continued, but the perfect killing machine that had consumed an entire world's ecosystem was now lying on its side, paralyzed by a technique humans had developed for subduing each other thousands of years before achieving spaceflight. Impossible, Veltar whispered. Sarah knelt beside the creature, her movements gentle and precise. From her belt, she produced a small injector. Broad-spectrum paralytic. Should keep it calm until you can repair the containment field. She administered the dose with practiced efficiency. I developed it last week from compounds we extracted from its own venom sacs. But the Vorthak is an apex predator. The ultimate predator on its world, Sarah corrected, standing and dusting off her hands. Earth has had dozens of apex predators. Some of them were our ancestors. Others were our competitors. All of them taught us how to survive. The human walked back down the corridor, stepping over debris from the creature's rampage. Her grin had faded, replaced by the calm professionalism of someone returning to their routine. The Vorthak evolved to be the perfect predator for its ecosystem, she called back. But Earth doesn't have just one ecosystem. We have millions. And the thing about humans, Vel, we don't just survive in those ecosystems. She paused at the corridor junction, looking back at the paralyzed creature. We conquered every single one of them. As the security teams arrived to transport the Vorthak back to containment, Veltar stared at the readouts from his sensors. The human's vital signs throughout the entire encounter had shown elevated heart rate and adrenaline, normal fear responses. But her actions had been those of a being who understood that fear was just another tool to be used. The Galactic Council would want a full report. They'd want to understand how a human had subdued the most dangerous predator in known space with nothing but timing and anatomical knowledge. Veltar suspected that the real answer was simpler and more terrifying than they could imagine. They hadn't captured the most dangerous predator in known space. They'd hired her.